Hello everybody and welcome back to the monastery. Today we'll be continuing the evaluation of the Fighter Subclasses, focusing on Xanathar's Guide to Everything. The three subclasses we'll be looking at today are the Arcane Archer, the Cavalier, and the Samurai. We'll be looking at these from the simplest to the most complex, in which I take into account how many options the class has, as well as how many potential targets the features affect. Which means that today we'll be starting off with the Samurai. So starting when you choose Samurai as a subclass, at the third level you gain the bonus proficiencies ability, where you can choose from History, Insight, Performance, or Persuasion, and become proficient in that skill. You also have a choice to, instead of getting one of those, you can learn a different language of your choice. You also gain the Fighting Spirit ability, which allows you to give yourself advantage and 5 temporary hit points by spending a bonus action. The number of hit points increases to 10 when you hit 10th level and 15 at 15th level, and you can use this feature 3 times per long rest. So the way temporary hit points is they don't carry over to the next day, and if you use this ability and you get hit and you have temporary hit points left over, and you use this ability a second time, you just replenish your temporary hit points. You don't add on to it. So if you get, let's say you're level 15, you have 15 temporary hit points and you get hit for 12 points of damage, and you have 3 temporary hit points left. If you use this ability again, you'll go back to 15, not 18. At 7th level, you become an Elegant Courtier, where you can add your Wisdom modifier to any persuasion checks that you make relying on charisma. You also gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws if you didn't already have this proficiency. If you did, then you get to gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma saving throws, of which you get to choose. At 10th level, you gain your tireless spirit, and it allows you to have a use of fighting spirit if you're entering battle, no matter what. So if you have no uses remaining, when you roll initiative, you regain 1 use. At 15th level, you gain Rapid Strike, which allows you to trade your advantage on one of your attacks to make an additional attack against the target as part of the same action. And you can't do it more than once per turn. So if you use your Fighting Spirit and you have 3 attacks, you can choose one of the attacks to lose advantage and be a regular attack, but now you're making 4 attacks in that turn. And then there's Strength Before Death, which is you gain at 18th level, and if you fall to 0 hit points, you immediately take another turn before you fall unconscious, which allows you to make another round of attacks. If you still have your action surge, you can do that as well. And if you still have 0 hit points at the end of the turn, you fall unconscious. Also, any damage you take while you're at 0 hit points causes you to automatically fail a death saving throw, which means if you get hit 3 times when you're at 0 hit points, your character just dies. And you can only use this feature once per long rest. So starting when you pick the Cavalier at 3rd level, your focus is around protecting others rather than mounted combat. So you gain a bonus proficiency, which can be between animal handling, history, insight, performance, or persuasion, or you could choose to learn another language. You also get Born to the Saddle, where you have advantage on saving throws made to avoid falling off of your mount. If you do happen to fall off of your mount and you fall no more than 10 feet and you're not incapacitated, you land on your feet. And as long as you're mounting or dismounting a creature, it only costs you 5 feet of movement as opposed to half of your speed. You also gain Unwavering Mark, which allows you to mark a creature when you hit them with a melee weapon attack on your turn. And this mark lasts until the end of your next turn, until you're knocked out or die, or if somebody else marks the creature. While this target is within 5 feet of you, any attack they make that's against a creature that isn't you has disadvantage, and if they do manage to hit a creature that isn't you, then you get a special melee weapon attack that you can use a number equal to your strength modifier times per long rest. It counts as a bonus action attack on your next turn. You have advantage on the attack roll, and if you hit, you deal extra damage equal to half of your fighter level, rounded down. You also gain Warding Maneuver at 7th level, which allows you to deflect or restrict damage done to you, your mount, or an ally close to you. And if a creature within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack, you can roll a d8 as an action, as long as you're wielding a melee weapon or a shield, and you add the number rolled to the target's AC. If the AC now surpasses the rolled attack, it doesn't hit. But if it does hit, you reduce the damage by half, which pretty much means you're giving the target resistance against the attack's damage. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier every long rest. At 10th level of Cavalier, you get the ability to hold the line, which allows you to make an opportunity attack against any creature that moves 5 feet or more while within your reach. And if you do hit them with this opportunity attack, then their speed is reduced to 0 until the end of the current turn. So if a creature is trying to run away from you, you can make this opportunity attack. If they're trying to run around you, you can make this opportunity attack. And if they're coming in close towards you, you can make this opportunity attack. As long as they're moving 5 feet or more in your reach, you can do this opportunity attack. At 15th level, you get Ferocious Charger, which means if you're moving at least 10 feet in a straight line before you attack the creature, and you hit with the attack, the creature is forced to make a strength saving throw, which is equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier, and if they fail, they're knocked prone. And you can only use this once on each of your turns, but this doesn't reduce the number of attacks you can make per turn. So if you do this first, and you do the rest of your attacks, which I think you have 3 total at this level, you can use the first one to knock them prone, and the next 2 have an advantage. And then at 18th level, you get Vigilant Defender, which allows you to make a opportunity attack as a reaction once on every creature's turn except for your own turn. But if you use this reaction, you can't use a normal reaction, period. So when you decide to pick the Arcane Archer subclass at 3rd level, you learn Elven techniques and infuse your archery with magic. You gain the Arcane Archer lore, which allows you to pick either the Arcana or Nature skill, and you choose to either learn the Prestidigitation or the Druidcraft cantrip. So these are things that you can cast any number of times per day as long as you're not asleep. You also learn the Arcane Shot, which I'll show you the options soon. But pretty much it's once per turn when you fire an arrow from a short bow or a long bow as an action, or as an attack action, you can apply one of your Arcane Shot options to the arrow. You can choose to use it when it hits a creature, unless it doesn't involve an attack roll, and you have 2 uses that you regain when you finish a short or a long rest. You gain another option every time you gain a feature in this class, and your 18th level ability is to improve the Arcane Shot options that you have. So much like the Eldritch Knight, I'll be leaving the Arcane Shot options here for you guys to view in your leisure. Just pause the video and read them as you like. Pretty much the only thing I have to say is that any of the ones that require a saving throw, the DC is equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. So this is another intelligence-based fighter subclass, but you can play this however you want. So as for the rest of Arcane Archer, a lot of your stuff revolves around the Arcane Shot. Since you gain a new one at every time you gain a feature for this level, at 10th level, that's the only thing you get, and at 18th level, as I stated earlier, your Arcane Shots upgrade. At 7th level, however, you gain Magic Arrow and Curving Shot, which play together. For Magic Arrow, You can pretty much make all of your non-magical arrows from a short or a long bow magical in order to overcome resistance or immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. And once the attack misses, if it does miss, you can enact Curving Shot to reroll the attack as a bonus action to a different target within 60 feet of the original. And at 15th level, you get Ever Ready Shot, which allows you to start battle with at least one Arcane Shot remaining. So when you roll initiative and you have no uses left, you regain one use of Arcane Shot. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by. I hope that these videos were enlightening and helping you learn more about the fighter class and their subclasses. And I hope that you guys decide to come by and stop again. Till next time.